start looking towards the recovery. And that's really where the focus has started to shift. And I've been on many calls for the last few weeks with everybody from our local restaurateurs to the heads of some of the biggest companies in the world that are starting to look towards the next step to safely come back. And let's keep in mind, when we talk about reopening the economy, and I know the governor and I have talked about this as well as many others, we're not talking about picking a choice between safety and economic recovery. You can do both, and we have to do both. And I've talked to a lot of health experts, and the good news is we've got some great health minds here in Louisiana. It was really good to see Warner Thomas, the head of Ochsner Hospital at the White House just a few days ago, working with the president on a plan to share ventilators for those communities that have an abundance of ventilators today, where other communities have a need. They can share and move those around the country. And hospitals have come to an agreement to do that. And Warner was at the forefront of that. We've also talked about how to reopen the economy in a safe way. Things like testing more. And there are a lot of different types of tests that are getting approved at rapid speed. This is something that's been an encouraging sign. To break through a lot of the red tape at agencies like the FDA that used to be notoriously slow at approving new drugs or new testing techniques. And there are clear safety reasons why it takes a lot of time. But sometimes the delay in time to get a 99% accuracy rate when you can get a 95% accuracy rate in a much quicker time and hopefully help and save a lot more people. And so you've seen that rapid pace of the FDA to approve, for example, the Abbott test that we've seen. And clearly there's an extra demand on those testing kits, and so they're making more. I know communities need more, but now there's a new saliva test. There are more things that are being done, even the temperature gauges that are being done in a lot of places. When you talk to the heads of sports leagues, and clearly opening up, we want to go to a Saints game again. I want to go see the Pelicans, see Zion out there playing again. And I've talked to Coach O, and he wants to get back out in Tiger Stadium, and he doesn't want it to be an empty Tiger Stadium where the Tigers are going and beating whoever is going to be out there on the field. We want a full stadium. But people know when we come back, it's going to probably be a gradual pace where people are taking extra precautions and then ultimately getting to a place where we have a lot more comfort level that this disease isn't going to spread like it has spread before, and we can do more things to contain it. But that work is being done on rapid pace, even finding cures. When you look at things like malaria drugs or lupus drugs that are pre-approved by the FDA for other uses, but now are being tried successfully in many cases, clearly not in all, but in many cases. And I've seen direct examples of people who were cured of coronavirus from some of those other pre-approved drugs. And those are things that the medical community is moving at light speed to address. And so that's encouraging to see. The IRS just started yesterday processing and sending out checks to families. The component of the CARES Act that puts direct money into the pockets of families so that they have money to pay their rent, money to buy food, money to do the things that they need to do when they might have lost their job or had reduced hours. Those checks just started going in yesterday. And this process is going to go in the next few weeks as more and more people see that it's something you don't have to pre-apply for if you've got an account with the IRS, if you've paid taxes before. They have your information. Over 60% of Americans already have their automatic paycheck deposit information on file with the IRS, so those checks will be automatically deposited. But just today, the IRS put up a new portal so that if you don't have automatic deposit, you can save yourself maybe a few weeks of getting that check if you just go online to irs.gov, and they've got a coronavirus button that you can click on and go through a lot of information about this. Whether you've never filed taxes before and you're eligible, you can qualify, or if you just want to get your credit or your checking account information put into the system so that the IRS can automatically deposit it. You can do all of that today, starting today through their portal. And that's going to help a lot of families get through this as well. And finally, just to touch on what the governor talked about, I was honored today to formally be asked by the president to join his task force to reopen the economy. This is a task force that includes some of the biggest business leaders in the world. It's a bipartisan group. There are about 20 members of Congress that are going to be on this task force too, both Republican and Democrat. I was on a call this morning with the president and the vice president and some of my colleagues talking about the economic recovery. And I was sharing with the president some of the ideas that I've heard from people in the medical community about how to better test so that you can start opening up parts of the economy in a safe way. All of this is going to be put together. We're working in conjunction with the governors, and clearly they're going to play an important role, just like what we do in Congress is going to play an important role to get things back to the way they were. We are going to come back. We know we've been through disasters before in Louisiana. Unfortunately, we have more experience than others in dealing with disasters, and we've dealt with those of all kind. We're a resilient people, but our country is full of resilient people as well, and you see those examples everywhere. And we do want to get back to our way of life. And when we start getting out again, we know it's not going to be exactly the same. We know we're going to have to take extra precautions. We can't get complacent, but we can start getting back to work, and we can start planning that in a smart and effective way. And I'm looking forward to doing that work in the coming weeks as we continue to work with the state and our local officials to get through this and to address the problems that come up along the way. So, Governor, it's great to be with you. And on behalf of our whole delegation, which again has been working incredibly well together to help get the state the things that are needed while we work on the issues at the federal level as well. So